Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am AstroZerg from YGG Gaming. So today I'm going to start out with Protoss and teach you the this is the beginner's guide to Starcraft 2. So this is going to show you the steps to figuring out each unit and understanding how they can be used effectively. So the first thing we have is the probe. This guy can move around and mine minerals. This is your standard, ordinary little guy that comes out of your Nexus, and he gets you your minerals. So then we will move on to the Zealot. This guy right here, he does a base of, he does 8 damage, and he attacks twice. So basically he does 16 damage-ish. He can use charge, which allows him to rush at someone that's a little bit further away, and do extra damage. And so this is your primary tank, your tanking unit. He's the one in the front of the lines taking all the damage while your stalkers or something hit from there. Your stalker right here, this is your background guy behind the zealots or whatever else might be in the front, doing a little bit more damage, and it can hit air as well. So anything in the air, anything on ground, it can hit. It can blink, which you can use in more advanced micro, which I'll put a few videos up on that. You can put advanced micro on that, and you can just use it to take out early drops or something like that. Next unit up, we have the sentry. This can force field, which force field's a ramp. So all you do is hit F, and what it'll do is pa. So pa. That's an interesting word. So what this will do is it'll just block off certain areas, and you can use that to trap an army. So like you can see here, I can wall myself in or something like that. I can put a video up on how to force field a group of like roaches or ravagers and send a disruptor ball in. I can do that for you guys. So that's its main thing. It can use Guardian Shield, which reduces damage taken. Adepts are your primary harass unit nowadays. You can use them to drop them into mineral lines. They do, they do 10 damage, 22 versus light. So versus lings, they do 22 damage. Takes 3 shots from one adept to kill them. They can use their psionic transfer, which allows them to go from base to base without being hurt. And they can attack 45% faster if you get resonating glaives. Next, we have the High Templar. This is actually one of the best units in the game. I personally believe if you play Protoss against Zerg and you don't use these guys, you're doing it wrong. That's just my opinion, because what happens is you can use Psionic Storm on even Bio or something, and you can wreck an army with just like a good 5 storms. What these do, they do AoE damage and just destroy the health on an army. They do 80 damage. Feedback can kill medevacs, overlords, stuff like that, and they can become archons. The next unit up is the Dark Templar. This unit is a cloaked, it does a lot of damage. It does 45 damage. So what it does, it goes around. You cannot see it unless you have detection, and you can just go around and kill things, and it'll just slash through Zerglings one hit. Roaches, it takes about 6 hits or so. I'm not entirely sure. It can also be morphed into Archons, warped into Archons. These guys cost more minerals. High Templar cost a lot more gas. Yeah, so these guys cost a lot more gas than these guys cost the same amount. Archons, they do splash damage. I have videos on these guys. I won't go too much into it. They can just do splash damage on like Zerglings, Marines, something like that. They take a lot of damage, 350 shield. Observer, this is your detection unit. You can just float around, it can scout, it's hidden, so it's really good for scouting. Warp Prism, you can use this guy to go around and do drops. It'll just float around, you can float around. You can also turn it into a power source for, you can technically, it's about this area, and you can technically warp in. You can either warp in units, or you can like power up photon cannons or something if you're trying to like do some weird rush. I don't even know what you would do that for, but it's just extra power. You can warp stuff in. It's really helpful. This is what you use to harass with adepts or something like that. Next, we will go to the Immortal. This guy is pretty cool. So against Road Ravager armies or something like that, this is really essential because it does 50 damage versus armored, which basically, let's see, let's just go here real quick. roaches, we'll go here. Roaches have 145 life. So if we start this, it's just gonna show you real quick how much damage it does. So 3 shots roaches in about 2 seconds or so. So that's really, really good. Colossus is really good against lings and like small units. It does 12 damage across a pretty wide area on the ground, and it attacks pretty fast. If you get thermal, if you get thermal lance, it attacks from farther away, allowing them to be more protected. So that's a pretty good unit. The disruptor, it sends out a little disruptor, a purification nova, and it shoots out a ball, and it lasts 2 seconds, and it basically just wipes out anything in its path. It takes about 2 disruptor hits to kill a Colossus, for reference, and a Colossus has a lot of health, so that's a lot of damage. Next up is the Phoenix. This is your air superiority unit, and what this does is it just floats around, and you can pick off overlords. You can pick up units on the ground like workers or something and just pick them off really easily. You can pick out queens, pick out like siege tanks, something like that, so they're really useful. Void Rays, these guys, they're good against well, you know, they're not used as much anymore because they're not really super effective. They're pretty good, but you just have to know how to use them well. Most people use Phoenixes to harass nowadays. These guys are used in like Golden Armada armies, and I'll get to that in a bit. You can also use E to overcharge. They gain extra damage versus armored units. Keep in mind, guys, armored units do not include Hydralisks. So if you're ever playing with those guys, do not use that on Hydralisk. It does nothing. Carrier, they have interceptors, and you can basically launch interceptors at a certain area and move away, and they'll just stay there till they die, or after 43 seconds have passed. They can hold up to 8 interceptors, and they do a lot of damage against like Hydralisks or something like that. What happens is the interceptors have their own health, and units will, if you just A move, then the Hydralisks will attack the interceptors, and instead of the carriers can keep making their interceptors. Tempests are very long-ranged units, and what happens is these guys are really good. They're best actually against bio, because what will happen is a giant bio army, if you have units on the ground, these guys can pick off like liberators that are sieged up, siege tanks. They can pick off a lot of stuff. They're really helpful. Oracles, these are your scouting units in the mid-game, and they're your harass units in the early game. What you usually do, you get the Stargate first, and then you make an Oracle first, and then start Phoenixes. But these guys, you can just use their Activate Pulsar Beam, and it takes 2 energy per second, and you can just pick off probes like really quickly. Stasis Wards freeze enemies in a small radius, and Revelation allows you to see units for 43 seconds in this range right in front of you that you can see here. You can see all that stuff, so you can see anything that's like detected, or sorry, that requires detection to see, lurkers, something like that. So that's really useful. Mothership Core, this is a really essential unit in early game because it can really prevent any early game harass, or even all limbs or something like that, or cheeses. So that's really effective to have. That's Mass Recall, which allows you to take your units from one spot all the way back to your nexus that you choose. And Time Warp slows down enemy units by 50%, so that's about half their speed-ish. So that can really allow you to get away or something like that. You can also make the Mothership. I'll show you here. Mothership, this does the same thing, but it cloaks any units in a really wide area, and that's really essential for a Golden Armada type army. So this is basically just the starter to anyone that wants to know, like, what's this, what does it do, what's it good against. That's basically just your guide to all these units. I appreciate you guys for watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, dislike, I don't really mind either. And subscribe for more videos. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to go more in depth with a certain unit you might have questions on, or unit composition or anything like that. I am willing to do anything, any one of those things. So thanks for watching. I'm Asher from IGG Gaming. See you next time.